Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be showing how to create a simple to-do list with JavaScript. For this project I'm using Visual Studio Code, and I've already created an empty folder for this project, which is to-do app, and I've uploaded this to my GitHub. I'll be leaving the link in the description box below. So I'll be creating the necessary files required for this project. So I'll go ahead and create it. The first one is going to be the index.html. Then the second one is going to be the style sheet. I'll call it styles.css. And the last one is going to be the JavaScript. I'll call it main.js. So with this being created, I'll start with the HTML. So if you in your keyboard type exclamation, if you type exclamation, then hit the tab button, it will give you the HTML boilerplate. So I'll change this to do app, and I'll link the style sheet and the JavaScript. Then the next one I'll link is the JavaScript. So I'll put it below the closing tag of the body. Script. Let's see. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and start adding content to the body. So the first thing I would like to do is to create a container which will be the general container for this HTML. So I'll give it a class of wrapper. Then inside this, I would like to have a h1, which is going to be, I'll write it to do application, to do app. Then after this, I'll create a div with class to do. Inside this, I would like to have a text box and a button. So compute type text. Then I'll give it an ID of to do item. Same with the class. Then I'll give it a placeholder. I just call it item for now. Then next, I'll create the button. Then I'll give it an ID. Let me call it add. Same with the class. Then I'll give it a value of add. So after this, I'll create another div which is going to hold the error message in the JavaScript validation. So create a div with class error. Then it should just be a span. So then after this, I'll create another list, which is going to be where we're going to store the to do items. Oh, I made a mistake. It's supposed to be styles. Okay, let's continue. So to do items, to do lists. So I think we are done with the JavaScript, the HTML. So let's take a look at how this thing looks in the browser. I think we are done with the HTML. So let's see how it looks in the browser before I start styling it up. I think we are done with the HTML. So let's see how it looks in the browser, then I'll start styling it up. So for now, this is how it looks in the browser. The H1 is showing to do app, and the text box and the button is showing. So the idea is when you enter let's say it's to do, let's say for example you write one of your to do is to write code, write some codes, and when you hit the add button, it checks whether this text box is empty. If the text box is not empty, it will be added to your to-do list, which is the which will be inside the on other list you created before. So but if the text box is empty, it shows the validation message. That's why we created that div with error class. So I'll quickly start this up, and we'll do the JavaScript. So let me copy and paste this here. See how it looks like, how it looks in the browser. I think this looks better. So we'll quickly do the JavaScript for the hookup and event handler for the add button. So let's do that right now. So I'll first of all close this one, and open the JavaScript file. So I need to declare some variable first. So let's call the first one ul. It will be document.query selector. And we need to grab the element with class to-do list. Okay, let's copy this one. Interesting. So next it will be to grab the input, the text box. So let's call it to do item, and is grab with the id, elements with the id to do item. Okay, after this one, let's copy this, paste here. So this one, let's call it add, and need to select or grab the element with id add. Then we'll grab the last one. I think let's call it error message, and we need to grab elements with the class, which is going to be the span error message. So with this being said, we need to set the event handler for the add button. So we say add.add event is now. Say click event, we'll say click, and text in a callback function. So we need to first of all check if the text box is not empty. So write an if statement if, and the text box is this to do item here. So we'll say if to do item dot value. Is not an empty string, then this will happen, and else this will happen. So let's first of all take care of the if first. So we need to create an li, a list. So we'll say const li equals to document dot create element. And which elements are you going to create? You want to create an li. After this, we'll create a span. So we'll say store it in a variable called span. Document dot create element span. And the value is going to be whatever is in the text box. So we say span dot inner html equals to, and the text box is to do item. Say to do item dot value. So after this, we'll create an input, which is going to be the checkbox we are going to need. So let's create an input. Say const input equals to document dot create element, and the element you are creating is an input, and we need to set the type to checkbox. So we say input dot type checkbox. So after this, we need to append everything to the li that we created. So the first one I want to append is the input, because it's being added to the DOM based on how we enter it. So we want to have an input first, which is the checkbox. Then beside it we'll have the span. So we'll say li dot append child, and what we want to append is the input. So we'll say input. After this, we'll say li dot append child, and we'll now append the span. So after this, we need to append the li to the unlisted list, another list. So we say to the other list, sorry, we need to append the li to the another list. So we'll say ul dot append child and append the li. So after this, we'll clear the text box. So we'll say to do item dot value, set it to an empty string. Then we'll say the error message, we'll set it to an empty string. So in the else statement, what we want to do is to print the error message. So we'll say error message dot inner HTML. It's going to be, sorry, I made a mistake. I'm supposed to add inner HTML here. Okay, and this is going to be the error message we want to display to the user. So let's write this field cannot be empty. So for the checkbox, instead of attaching event handler to all the checkbox, I will attach the event handler to the another list. So I will say ul dot add event list now. It's going to be a click event, so we'll say click, and takes in a parameter which will give us the element that is being clicked. So we need to store the element that is being clicked in a variable. So let's call the variable element. So we'll say call it element, and we'll set it to e.target. So next we need to do an if statement to check if what is being clicked on is a text box or is a checkbox. So we'll say if element.type equals to checkbox. What I want to do is want to grab the elements of the element that is being clicked, so we can access the span. So we'll say let's store it in a variable also, call it parent is equals to document, or sorry, we'll call it element dot parent element. So this will give us the parent. So from here, let's store the span here also. So we'll say span is equals to parent dot query selector. We need to get the span. So after this, we need to check if the checkbox is checked. So write an if statement. If element dot checked. So if it's checked, we need to give a class to the span, so we can be able to strike it with the CSS. So we say span dot class list dot add. We need to add a class. Let's call it completed. So copy this and paste it here. So this will be removed. So what this does is, if it's checked, it will give the class this completed class. It will give the span. So what this does is if it's checked, it will give the span a class of completed. Then if it's not checked, it's removed the class completed. So I've already styled this up in with CSS completed, so that it could be able to strike the element So let's try this out in the browser. So let me refresh first. Add some coding. This can be someone's to do, So let's ticket. Jesus. It's not working. Let's check the code and see where the problem is coming from. Oh, this needs to be in okay, so let's try it again. Refresh. Okay, so when I tick it, it's crossed, and tick this one, it crossed. So let's try and add this one. Okay, the validation is still working. So as you can see, we have built a to-do application, a simple to-do application. So with this, you can actually use it to practice your JavaScript. We have come to the end of this tutorial. You can always use the this project I uploaded in my GitHub as reference when you are coding your own, so that you can actually get the best out from it and actually learn JavaScript on your own. And if you have any problem or any suggestion on any topic you want me to treat, you can leave it in the comment section below. And if this is the first time you have been in my channel and you haven't subscribed or liked my video, I'll be happy if you subscribe to this channel right now and also like this video. Thank you.